Welcome, everyone. I'm Tracy Fitzpatrick, and I'll be your moderator today. Thank you so much for joining us here at Netcom Learning, a market leader in promoting lifelong learning, training, and talent development solutions. We are very excited to host today's event, Microsoft 365 Copilot, the art of prompting. Presenting today's topic is Gino Joseph. Gino is a Microsoft certified trainer with over 6 years of experience in the technical field. Gino's expertise is in Microsoft Azure, Power Platform, and data science technologies. He has successfully delivered numerous corporate training to date and consulting assignments for various clients across the globe. Please bear in mind that this is an overview of a very robust topic. We offer a collection of technical and business courses that can be tailored to your specific requirements. If you are interested in a further discussion, you can make an appointment with our learning consultants through our website at netcomlearning.com. Today's session is also being recorded, so you'll get free access to the recording in the next 24 hours via email. Netcom Learning helps customers build innovative learning organizations by achieving a smarter workforce, adapting to change, and driving growth. We do this with a broad catalog of offerings, developing customized learning plans, and our global delivery capabilities. Since 1998, we have been empowering organizations with our managed learning services to help them reach optimal performance results and address challenges. We do have 9 practice areas in which we specialize. They encompass people, process, and technology training. Today's presentation is from the Data and AI practice area. Netcom Learning offers a comprehensive training portfolio of courses for the topic being covered today. Our upcoming classes include various trainings on the given courses. You can also access a variety of marketing assets, such as the free training and blogs, by clicking on the available event handout. These offerings can be found with a simple search on our website at netcomlearning.com. Today's session will cover insights and the full potential of Microsoft 365 Copilot by mastering the art of effective prompting. In this transformative session, you'll learn how to create impactful prompts that streamline workflows, enhance productivity, and empower data-driven decision-making. Discover how AI can revolutionize the way you work, drive innovation and success for your business. In addition, participants will get guidance on effectively preparing for the MS-4005 certification course and exam in today's session. And now I would like to give you a quick overview of the logistics before we get started. To begin with, you do have the option to view in full screen by clicking on the full screen button on the right side of the GoToWebinar viewer. Simply hit the escape key to exit the full screen. Everyone has been muted except for our presenters. Feel free to submit any questions you have for the presenters here in the questions pane, and we will address them at the end of the session. And to get the best out of today's events, we've included the slides, courses we talk about, and marketing assets in the handouts section of your GoToWebinar viewer. You may refer to them at any time to get a better understanding of today's topic. And we do realize that some of you may have to leave early and want to let you know that as you do leave the session today, you will be presented with a short survey. We would like to request for you to take a quick moment to participate in that survey. Your feedback really helps us understand your learning experience and improve our future sessions for you. The survey answers are measured on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 representing outstanding and 1 representing poor. And now I'd like to pass this over to our trainer to present today's topic. Hey, Gino, thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, guys, thank you very much, Tracy. And hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to this masterclass, very specifically with respect to M365 Copilot, the art of prompting. Let me give you a quick introduction about myself before we head into the real detailed facets of this particular session where we understand the art of prompting. Myself, Gino Joseph. I am a Microsoft certified trainer. I come with 8+ years of experience into the domain of training. I predominantly deal with, say, courses with respect to the AI domain. Of course, being certified on the data platform courses. So deal with courses pertaining to data engineering, data sciences, of course, nowadays into Fabric too, definitely, and of course, hold some certifications along the line of our platform too, and also been involved into numerous trainings with respect to custom requirements that involves Copilot, and of course, the Copilot line of products as such around there. So greatly excited on this session, all right, as we understand maybe the art of prompting, especially you are someone who's going to be making use of Copilot within your M365 ecosystem. I hope this short session really makes it valuable to really understand how you can input these kind of prompts and definitely generate relevant and accurate responses. Okay, and this is what the agenda looks like. Okay, what we're going to be discussing in today's particular session, as we gonna get started with talking about Copilot, what is Copilot, and I'm going to give you an overview. Not going to be see architecturally going to be discussing all the facets here, but yes, within the stipulated time, limiting the discussions to give out something very important because this will give you the background, set the background, um, and then definitely where what can I use with Copilot? Okay, this is where say you will understand the possibilities that do exist with Copilot. Okay, I can show you some examples in the possible context. Some of you would have already started, say, using Copilot in your day-to-day task. Okay, maybe in your Word asset and all that. But in case we have some of you who are really going to venture into using Copilot for your day-to-day task, definitely say I can show you some possible demonstrations, all right, that aligns to using Copilot into your day-to-day task as such, maybe with Office 365, different tools in the possible scenarios. And then since our focus is mainly on the concept of understanding prompt, okay, or maybe should we have mentioned it as prompt engineering, which would have been definitely something more broader, but now we will understand some important things, okay, some techniques, why prompting plays a crucial role. Uh, when I start to discuss about Copilot, maybe the kind of constructions, maybe how the instructions will leverage towards having relevant responses, you will see that prompting will play a very, very crucial role in terms of generating the best out of your, say, any Gen AI solutions for that matter. Okay, but since our focus is mostly today on the Copilot part, we will limit the discussions to that of Copilot and definitely how these prompting techniques, okay, different techniques, with some examples will ensure that you have something to go about that will ensure the responses are relevant. And then I'm going to talk about some, say, some roadmaps that you can consider, okay, in case you find, say, you want to explore the opportunities, the possibilities that exist, okay, taking up certain courses and that really aligns to your professional roles, or maybe something that you want to see upskill yourselves for, maybe getting yourselves ready for the future. Definitely, I have a very interesting slide that can definitely give you an outline of what can be the possible end routes that you can consider about. And finally, we might say wrap up with respect to some questions in case if you have any, and definitely we can conclude in the session within the time that we have taken into context for that matter. Okay, so here is what the rough agenda looks like. It's very interesting. Okay, a lot of say some few examples, demonstrations, concepts with respect to Copilot, prompting, and different tools where you would be able to use in Copilot as such, and definitely some takeaways in terms of some courses that I consider can be really be beneficial for you as you look to upskill yourselves for that matter. So let's quickly get into talking about what is Copilot. Okay, the first and the foremost discussion that we're going to be, say, going to be involved into is that to understand what Copilot is all about. So here is an interesting video that I have integrated, all right, from the Microsoft side. Let me give you, say, let me play this video for you guys. And then probably from there, we can definitely see head into understanding what Copilot is all about, and how particularly they are really beneficial in its context to your day-to-day business operations as such around there. So let me quickly play this video and probably say head into the real, say, core concepts or maybe the core facets of this particular session in this case. Let me play this video and here you go. All right. Okay, so that was a video, all right. Of course, it didn't have any, say, audio, very specifically a speech involved into describing what Copilot was, but you would have seen the possibilities that were being demonstrated in the context of Copilot as such. Okay, let me just, okay. So the question arises, what is Copilot really? Okay, you saw the possibilities that were being discussed or maybe showcased in this particular the video, of course, from the Microsoft end. But you must understand that we're talking about a solution, all right, a tool, which is, of course, can be labeled as Gen AI, all right. And you know that what is generative AI, especially if you're someone who has used, say, tools like, say, ChatGPT, maybe Claude, Gemini, Midjourney as such around. And of course, we have a very interesting tool like Copilot, which has been integrated into your M365 ecosystem as such. So your Copilot is an AI agent, all right? It's an AI agent which is being integrated into your M365 ecosystem that can help you achieve productivity, say, of course, streamlining your business task as such around the that involves dealing with your M365 data as such around. Okay, so whether you're going to work with Office tools, whether you're going to work with, say, which is your Word, maybe your PowerPoint, maybe in your SharePoint, maybe with respect to that of your Power Platform, Power BI, say maybe your GitHub, and so on. So your Copilot is something that can really analyze the data that exists within your um, particular ecosystem or the data that you're going to deal with, and it can assist you in terms of executing your day-to-day business tasks. Okay, so you would have already seen the particular demonstration, right? How particularly maybe say when you make use of Copilot, with whether it is in your Outlook, okay, which is to compose an email. Maybe say you're going to use that into your teams to quickly understand, recap what were the main talking points in the construct, or maybe within a particular team meeting as such. This was really possible with Copilot. Understand that in this context. So your Copilot can interact with your business data that resides, or maybe that to which you have particularly access within your tenant, organizational tenant assets around there. And you can say make use of the capabilities that exist with generative AI to generate responses. And of course, say extract the semantic meaning, or maybe say extract insights from the data that underlies or that you want to analyze, that you may want to summarize, and so on, so for that matter. And that is where, say, you must understand how particularly this Copilot really works, all right? Because it's a Gen AI solution, all right? It does have the capabilities of generating responses. Um, so many a times as we say interact with this Gen AI solutions, um, you are always looking to have responses that are more valid, okay, that are more accurate, and definitely you must that I must say this. It doesn't goes into saying that say it's going to be your replacement because it's termed as co-pilot. So you're going to be on the pilot seat, definitely, and it's going to work along with you, all right, on your instructions to generate those responses that are aligned to your line of work. So, placed within your M365 ecosystem, all right, your Copilot has, say, some what do you call defined scope, all right, and that is with that scope, it really ensures the safety, the security, the privacy that should go into protecting your sensitive informations, and without, say, eliminating or say without, say, taking up the fact that, say, um, that your responses are not irrelevant, okay? Ensuring that you are able to perform your task, help you in augmenting your business processes into day-to-day context as such and on. So when you look at this architecture, okay, let me give you a rough understanding about how this really works because it's very important that we discuss about this tool, the architecture, and the kind of possibilities that that does exist for that matter. So of course, your Copilot is just it's an app, it's a Gen AI app or maybe a tool that has been integrated as a part of different say possibilities that exist with your M365. So maybe say you are going to be using your Copilot within your Word, maybe you're going to be using in your GitHub, maybe you're going to be using that in your security line with products as such around there. So every time, okay, maybe a user, all right, understand that we're talking about an AI agent. So a user chooses to interact with this AI agent. That is definitely your co-pilot. So what the user is going to do, all right, with the user, he or she decides to say apply an input prompt, and you will see that the mode of the communication that a person chooses, that a business user might use, would be definitely a prompt here in this case. So when a prompt is being applied, or maybe say supplied to the co-pilot, understand that you're instructing your co-pilot, you're directing your co-pilot to perform a specific task. There's a specific goal in mind, all right, that a user tries to achieve as and when being instructed. Now, I'll talk about some of the, say, breakdown of these facets in a meanwhile, but let me make you understand what is happening. So when a user prompt is being applied as you should on there, the next process here is to ground your responses. Now, any AI solution that we talk about, okay, any AI application that we need to be talking about, understand that it's going to mimic, okay, human capabilities, all right? So when I'm going to ask you something, maybe you are going to be, say, generate or maybe going to respond to me on the basis of some context, right? So if I ask you to explain me about models, all right, and probably you are going to start talking on AI models because you know that for the past few minutes that we have been talking about AI. So you think that, okay, this person is going to be asking me on AI models, and that's why you will generate responses in a relevant manner. In the same manner, when an input prompt is being provided, okay, there is a need for contextualizing your responses. Okay, you cannot have an open-ended conversation. Rather, you'll have to narrow down very specific. Okay, and that's where the concept of grounding comes into role play because you want to ground your responses on the basis of certain context as such. So from a given prompt, all right, you start to understand, okay, where am I supposed to be grounding things about? So that's where it starts to interact with Microsoft Graph. Some of you might be familiar with the Microsoft Graph, or maybe see, if not, still let me put it across. This is where Graph is something that places all your data, your content, all right, your emails, your files, your chats, and so on, so that are a part of your M365 tenant as such around. So on the basis of the, say, the grounded, say, content or the context that you have provided, or on which you have ensured that the response should be well relevant and valid on the basis of the grounded data, what you're going to do is that on the basis of the graph, definitely you are going to be applying, or say maybe the response given back by your Microsoft Graph, all right, is going to be provided to your LLM. Okay, now this is something that you would have heard a lot about, right? So, what does the term mean? LLM, which is large language model, as the name goes, large speaks about sheer volume of data, all right, that was used for training this particular model. Language, do not confuse. I'm not talking about, say, the English language or maybe say French language, but whether when we talk about LLM, it is the language in the sense that via which a model is able to extract the insights or maybe makes sense out of a particular input. So, for example, given an English text, okay, the LLM or the language models are capable of understanding that, hey, this person is communicating in English, this person is talking about something which is very much central, what are the key talking points, what are the entities, maybe what could be the summaries, all right, and so on. So the LLM, all right, or the large language model speaks about a large volume, or maybe say, maybe you can think it of as a dictionary very specifically, all right, which will be able to extract the semantic meaning, all right, from that of your given, say, responses from that, or maybe the input that you've provided to your prompt as such. And what the LLM will definitely do is, okay, the prompt, okay, since it has some data coming from the graph, all right, it has a modified prompt because it's more contextualizing. Okay, so you want to have responses based upon such a document, then uses that to construct very particularly some responses. So when the response is generated by the LLMs, you understand that the LLM will be responsible for, say, constructing something which is more relevant. Okay, again, there is a lot of concept that goes into the backend, like with respect to tokens, tokenization, vectorization, and so on. So but I'm not going to be delving on that. And of course, you will, when the response is generated, there is a check, all right, for our AI, that is responsible AI, and then the response is given back to the very particularly to your graph, Microsoft Graph, to check for whether, again, check for whether there are some compliance or say issues that needs to be tackled as such. And once that is being done, definitely say once being validated, again on the interface of your Copilot, you will see that the response is given back to the particular user. So it looks very simple whenever you are using your Copilot in your Word, maybe in your Excel, maybe in your Outlook, and so on. So, but on the backdrop, say a lot of processing goes into context for that matter. So what happens is that, say, just because of the large volume of data that this AI agent has been trained upon, again, understand that this is going to be scoped in that of your say organizational tenant or maybe your M365 tenant as such around there. So what is going to be happening? You take the capabilities of LLM to construct responses. Okay, you will ensure that okay you are dealing with only that data where you have the right access to with your Microsoft Graph. Okay. And then, of course, you instruct your LLM, your AI agent to come up, fetch information spanning across your M365 tenant to provide with more valid responses in the context for the matter being. Okay, so look how beneficial this has turned out to be. Okay, rather than you navigating across different applications, different services on just one particular, say, a window or maybe an avenue that you choose, which is your Copilot, you can interact, okay, with the entire data in that particular data estate or maybe that where you have the right permissions to work with, okay, and generate what insights in that context. So maybe say think about in that context, for example, maybe you have a long thread of email, all right, and the amount of time that might go into say going through all the email threads as such around there. So with some simple directive prompt, okay, a user can ask the Copilot to simply summarize the entire email and come up with responses that are more valid, or maybe use it in terms of finishing or executing the business task that he or she is looking into for that matter. So this is really beneficial. Okay. very, very beneficial because again, say it does not limit, say, creativity because again, as you direct, right, when your prompts are creative enough, okay, you can ensure that the results are also creative as such. You can organizations, okay, they can achieve more productivity because the time, the hours, the man hours that goes into say doing something which is very much mundane can be eliminated. Say something that has been repetitive can be eliminated, and you can deploy your task force into doing something which is very meaningful. And of course, maybe say understanding the possibilities, all right, navigating through the data assets and so on. So it definitely is beneficial for that matter. So your Copilot really streamlines, all right, your business processes. Okay, your business tasks, as you choose to interact with Copilot in the context of your M365 tenant for that matter being. Okay, let me show you, okay, a very interesting, say, let me just fetch this particular part, which is my Copilot here. Okay, and let me show you how particularly what are the possibilities that does exist. Okay, so here, of course, I could have used another avenue for maybe working with Copilot. But right now, I'm just using the Copilot chat version that is available. Okay, and I'm gonna be say I can just simply interact with this Gen AI tool, which is Copilot, which I have the permissions to work within my tenant, and of course generate responses for that matter being. So again, maybe you are using Copilot in your teams, maybe you want to use that and see other possible avenues. Definitely, it's gonna be there. But my task, since our focus is all about see prompts, okay, the prompt engineering concepts here. Let's get familiarized what it all we can do here, and then we will discuss focusing on the prompt possibilities that do exist for that matter. So since your Copilot, okay, is say again, you may want to sometimes you might want to ground your responses, bringing in only your business data. All right. Sometimes maybe you want to say go fetch information that is available on the public websites. In each of the contexts, definitely your Copilot comes into role play. So the question arises, hey, why don't I use, say, uh, maybe a simple Google search? Why don't I go for a Bing search as such? Okay, why should I be using Copilot if I can just say, search it out from the internet and make it available? The answer is that, say, with Copilot, all right, say you are narrowing down or bringing all the informations in one place, or maybe say with respect to the specific context for that matter. So, for example, right now here, say, I'm just giving you an example here. All right, maybe say I'm working for a company, all right, and my company has decided to identify what can be the core critical, say, training areas, all right, which are relevant, as per maybe the market trends as such. Okay, so I can use Copilot very specifically. Okay, and I can just do a simple web search as such on this. If, for example, I can say identify the uh, key trainings, okay, that can be provided to say business users, okay, users in the IT industry, um, as per market trends. Mm, let's see, identify the top five. Okay, now look at this case here. Very interesting. Okay, now look at this here. When I had asked my say Copilot, okay, now I'm using say I'm grounded with respect to M365, but the response that has been generated here has been bought from the web. Okay, where I was very specific to say that I was looking for identifying the top trainings, all right, that can be provided to my business users, all right. I said that, okay, the users are in the IT industry, and I want to identify this on the basis of, say, the market trend for that matter. So when you look at this particular part, okay, see the responses have been brought in from here. You can see the citations it's using, which are the websites, okay, that it has considered, the Copilot has considered to provide me with maybe what it considers. Of course, the reason why you are in this particular session is simply because the eminence AI holds for that matter. So of course, definitely, see, as per the market trends, AI and machine learning holds the first place, then maybe cybersecurity, cloud computing, DevOps, okay, metaverse, and so on, so for that matter. So now, what my company or what my team member can definitely do is use this as an information. All right, use this very specifically to further streamline or maybe say execute the task in that context. Okay, once this information is available, maybe say I can use it to create a proposal, or maybe say once I have done the market research here, all right, my team, all right, my L&D team has identified the top 5 topics. So maybe what they can do is that maybe use this information and probably collate this information to create a proposal, all right, asking for a proposal from a ATP, say to provide with possible agendas, or maybe say the outlines, the schedules, the costing, and so on, so for that matter. So from where I can bring in this information and bring it into my Word document and so on, so for that matter. So here, what is happening here? I haven't limited, okay, my Copilot to work in that of context of, say, my M365 tenant as such, but rather I have used my Copilot chat here to work or fetch information from web-based or maybe public websites. Now, maybe if I want to really say work with respect to maybe limiting my Copilot to work with respect to, say, within my organizational tenant. Okay, even that is possible. So here, what I can do is say, I can just maybe see, look at this case, some possible templates that are available. All right. Maybe I want to understand what's my next meeting with respect to, say, Robert Hales, who is one of my team members. All right. Maybe I want to understand about some interactions. And so all the data that I have an access to, which is there in my OneDrive, which is there in my SharePoint, which I have, my admins have shared and made it available to me. All right, say I can definitely run those queries as such around it. Okay, maybe just let's say, let me, if I have a meeting with Robert Hales, let's see whether, yeah, see, I have, say, very particularly a meeting that I can definitely have fetch, say, informations in this context for that matter. Okay, that is pretty much possible. Or maybe say I want to really say, I want to understand what are the possible prompts that I can run in any context for that matter. Okay, maybe I want to understand on the meeting, maybe I want to understand about, say, some documents. All of that is going to be possible. So look at here, with this one particular app, okay, I might want to access my maybe my Teams data, my calendars, my see, for example, my Word documents, my see emails, and so on. So all of that is going to be possible here. For that, I just need to apply the right prompt. So do not forget the architecture that we spoke about in the previous slide here. See here, here I just use my Copilot chat, okay, to very particularly say come up with the responses. But again, I just grounded my responses, all right, again, whether it was web-based, whether it is my tenant-based as such around there, to come up with responses which are more valid, which are more accurate as such around there. And you would have seen in this case very specifically, whenever I was trying to apply those prompts, okay, of course, I will have to do the proofreading, okay, because this is Copilot. I am the pilot here. So I will have to proofread it, ensure that the responses are constructed in a very, very, say, strategic manner, which ensures that I have something relevant and accurate to work in this context for that matter. So this is gonna be really, really beneficial. So with one particular tool, all right, you can bring data that is spread across your entire ecosystem, and you can narrow down these informations, coming up with these insights to to the line of work that you're doing in. And that is where your Copilot is really beneficial. And what is the interesting facet here? Okay, what is interesting here? You need not have to know any programming language. Okay, you need not have to be a pro IT expert as such around there. Maybe you are from the HR, maybe you're from the marketing, maybe you're from somebody from the ops team, maybe you might be a trainer like me too. All right. You just need to interact with this tool using what your natural languages. Maybe you have English, maybe you know your language as such around there. So the underlying LLM will be able to understand what you want, and it starts to respond in such a way. And definitely you'll have to consider what proofreading, and maybe there are ways in which you will be able to refine the responses. We'll talk about that in a while, and generate the best in this case for that matter. So the possible, that's what this doesn't limit creativity, okay, but definitely it ups the game to the next level. How creative can be in terms of interacting with this tool will ensure for responses that are, say, relevant, accurate, okay. How very particularly you can say, be more specific, more clear, and so on. So will ensure for the relevancy and the accuracy that you're looking into for that matter. So that's where this tool becomes really, really helpful, because it works along with you. Okay, maybe for automation, maybe for streamlining your work, maybe drafting, composing, say, editing. Definitely, this is gonna be possible. Okay, I'll show you some possibilities that does exist with, say, some of the office tools that we're going to be discussing in a while, as we really understand for that matter being. So the question arises, hey, since we understood, okay, what the Copilot is all about, okay, what it is trying to bring in, okay, whether you're going to bring in from that of, say, all of your, say, your tenant assets around there, or maybe you're going to work with respect to, say, specifically sourcing informations from the web. Your Copilot is really beneficial. So the question next arises, hey, what can I use with Copilot? Okay, I must narrow down the discussion, or maybe say bring out insight into context. Okay, because again, here you can see this particular interesting slide. All right, again, that really speaks about how particularly you can use Copilot in your FDD apps. So, of course, with the right permissions, depending upon the licenses that you've taken up to be, you can use your Copilot and your different line of products that are part of your M365. As of now, you would have seen I use the Copilot app, okay, in the Edge browser. Maybe you want to use Copilot in your Outlook, maybe in your Word, maybe in your Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, okay, your Teams, okay, maybe with respect to your Loop, maybe with respect to Power Platform, maybe with respect to your whiteboards, SharePoint, forms, and so on. So definitely it's gonna be possible. So you will see that the limitation, see, it takes away the limitations, all right, because you will see that on your day-to-day task, all right, of course, for your business processes, for your business tasks, definitely you will be, you are using all these tools in your day-to-day life, right? So this makes it easier because you save time, you can save the effort by using your Copilot to maybe that's where you're using it to summarize things. Maybe you're gonna be simplifying, say, understanding some complex informations within your Word, Excel, and so on. So definitely your Copilot is going to come very, very handy in that case. Now, I must say this, okay? Um, it's not always necessary that, say, you're going to work with Copilot, which is, of course, within your M365 directly. Say, sometimes you might want to have a custom Copilot as such around there. Now, I'm not sure how many of you have seen explored the possibilities, but yes, there does exist, see, the possibilities where you can create custom agents as such. So whatever that we talked about as of now, these are some of the standard, say, standard Copilot agents that are available, which is available as an app, as an agent integrated into your M365 ecosystem as such. But many a times, okay, when you're working with Copilot as such, okay, you may want to create agents, all right? Agents very specifically say that suits to your specific goal. So that is where you can create very particularly say you can create agents here, all right, custom agents as such around there, and then definitely say use it in terms of meeting your specific goals as such. So what we're discussing here with M365 Copilot is definitely say, okay, spanning across your generic solution needs and so on. So you can create very particularly, you can use Copilot, which has been enabled in your say M365 environment and decide to work upon that. But in some scenarios, you may want to have a specific agent, all right, that meets your specific requirements. For example, an agent, all right, maybe my marketing team decides to develop an agent that can provide them with standard responses that are aligned on with respect to the task that they have worked with. Okay, maybe understanding some agendas, maybe say identifying some schedules, and definitely say making it possible for the only made available for the marketing team as such around there. Okay, that is possible. Maybe my operations team can come up with say an agent that can be created that can deal with the specific task. Maybe my ops team is involved into maybe with respect to training, delivery, and so on. So for that matter, so that does also exist. Okay, so for example, so the difference here is that, see, if you want to have a solution, all right, say custom made, all right, tailored very specifically to meet your requirements, in that case, you can also create what these custom agents. Okay, so when I'm going to talk about some, say, roadmaps as such around there does exist some possibilities, all right, that are available where okay without even knowing any code, all right, without even say going for the pro code capabilities, you can go for say um, a low code solution is very much available that makes it possible for you to create say custom co-pilots as such. So irrespective of wherever you're using, all right, whether you're going to use it in say your M365 within your office applications, or maybe you want to create custom co-pilots and then definitely make it available in the right channel as such around there. It is the possibilities does exist so that you can leverage the capabilities of artificial intelligence and definitely say get the best out of the AI that can augment your day-to-day business task as such around there. Let me see. This is what I spoke about, some of the prompt gallery. Okay, from the prompt gallery. So whether you're going to work with C, with your PowerPoint, maybe with your Word, okay, maybe in your Outlook, okay, maybe see you're going to work with respect to your Excel. Definitely that possibility does exist as such around. Okay, I'll show you one by one. Okay, not all, but few very specifically to that of maybe your Word, all right, say, and maybe say to that of your Excel, maybe with your PowerPoint and Outlook as such around there in this demonstration. Just give me a minute. Let me fetch my Word document and let's see. Okay, here it is, and there we go. Okay. Mm, okay. 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 So this is my Word, Microsoft Word. Okay. Of course, a blank document is what I've opened up. So to work with Copilot, okay, M365 Copilot in your Word, you can definitely open your Copilot by clicking on this Copilot P. Okay, in this particular ribbon, okay, you can open your Copilot and you can start interacting with your Copilot app. Okay, so what really happens is that on the background, okay, these GenAI solutions solved by the LLM is being deployed in such a way that you can apply conversational intelligence. Okay, so you can interact with this Copilot as though you are, see, this says that you are everyday AI companion. So, like, what happens when you start interacting with your companion? You are gonna be, say, particularly going to communicate, all right? You're engaged into conversations. So the same thing that can be applied here is that there is in this particular tool or with this generative AI tools that we speak here, they have the capability to engage into conversation because they have been integrated with conversation intelligence. So you can integrate, okay, you can ask, you can say through challenges or maybe say through, say, questions so that the Copilot will understand and definitely come up with responses for that matter. So definitely say you can directly say use Copilot here whenever you want to say engage with the Copilot, okay, the tool, the AI tool, uh, to very specifically construct responses in this chat-based interface for that matter. Now, what if in case if you want to really work with, say, drafting content as such, okay? So even that does exist in this case for that matter. Let me show you what I would have done. Say, for example, I have started with a very, say, what do you call it? Mm, say a particular blank document, and I want to say use it, all right, to generate something that is very much relevant to me. So what I will do is, since I'm looking towards say creating something which is from the scratch, I can use this particular the pane that you see here, okay, and then I can use it to draft my content as such and on. So I can see I can direct my Copilot to draft a proposal or something that is really relevant for me. Okay, so for example, I can simply say that, okay, draft me with a marketing proposal. Okay. And see, look now what's going to be happening here. Okay. So when I just simply say a prompt of this sort, now this will narrow down to the discussion because we're going to be talking about, say, the art of prompting in a while. So when I say, look at this case, yeah, see. Okay. So look at this case here. And I just said here that I was looking for uh, having a marketing proposal. But if you would have closely observed, there is a flaw here. The flaw is that, okay, that was a very, say, open-ended, say, prompt or an instruction that was being given. Okay, and since your LLM comes with, say, the capability to generate responses, maybe on the previous patterns recognized, it starts to create a proposal and so on. So incorporating some data, maybe something that is openly available as such. Okay, now here I'm drafting. Okay, I'm still drafting with respect to that of my Copilot. Maybe I'm happy with the response. Okay, I can keep this up. Or maybe if I want to regenerate, I can just click on the generate option that is available. So it starts to, again, something similar, but again, some changes here and there, tokens coming into role play, and definitely starts to create these proposals here in this case. Yeah, yeah, see, okay. And now, when this is being done, okay, of course, maybe as someone who works with content as such around there, if you're okay, you can keep this up. If not, you can definitely regenerate it as such, okay? But now maybe see, I want to refine my content as such, okay? That does exist as such around there because you can see very particularly specify, okay, that maybe I want to have it more formal, or maybe you want to have it more, say, casual, or maybe you think that maybe, say, you want to limit it, you want to fine tune the draft that's created, limiting it to maybe just maybe one page or two page, or maybe say the number of words. Maybe you can be more specific on that. So that instruction is something that you can definitely provide the context. But the problem here is that, see, since I was working with this particular document, okay, maybe a draft as such around there, after a careful consideration, say, I think that this needs to be somewhat, say, refined, all right? Because I haven't specified informations that are more relevant, okay? Because most of the times when I'm going to be creating proposals, I'm not going to be using, say, very particularly some external web-based data, but rather I might want to use it on my internal data as such on there. So maybe I want to be specific, say, on what my product is going to be. Say it says XYZ because it does not have the name of the company that I'm going to be working with or as such on there. So let me say, draft me a marketing proposal, all right, for our product. Maybe say something like I use the term, the name of the company is, say the product is Zipper Guard. Okay. And say I can ask my Copilot to generate, all right, um, help me to generate, okay, three ideas for marketing campaign. Okay. Now I'm adding more context. Okay, now if you remember the grounding concept that we spoke about, so I'm trying to narrow down the discussions, okay, maybe the responses in a more valid manner. So look at this case here. Now this was very helpful. See, the proposal has been drafted or say maybe refined in such a way that incorporating the name of the say the product as such around there. It speaks about the introduction, maybe the audience. Okay, and of course, since I specifically stated that I was looking at three different strategies, you can see the responses thus being constructed for that matter. Okay, now what happens is that see um, okay. Now, what happens is that this was very explicit. Okay, I said that maybe I'm looking to have a particular marketing campaign or with three ideas as such around there. Now, what I can do is see, I can again narrow down my discussions, all right, in such a way that I can say that, okay, if this is okay, maybe say if I have another document, okay, and I want to use that document as a source, all right, and then use that in terms of say generating the responses. This can be really be beneficial. Okay, so what happens is that maybe I said that help me generate three ideas for marketing campaign, and I can say that why don't you include, all right, campaign including the brief overview, all right, of the product, say with respect to the pros and the cons for each idea and maybe ROI projection. Okay. Also, I can say that, and then what I can definitely do is, uh, yeah, and what I can definitely do in this case is I can reference very particularly my document as such around this. See, I can see that I can look for a document, see which is my files. Okay, okay, let's see. Oh, that was, let me just check what was the name of that particular document, which is Contoso Cipher. Yeah, I already have a document which is Contoso. Okay, if it's not working, what I can definitely do is, so I'm talking about this particular document. Okay, I'll show you. Yeah. So what I can do is I can copy the link from here. Okay, this is the product description file that I have. So on the base, see the amount of time that should go into say analyzing this entire document. It's a 3-page document. Okay, so I can extract the possibilities that does exist with my GenAI tool. Okay, and yeah, and let's generate this one. See now what happens to my marketing proposal. See, okay, that went to going to the third page, see, and creating the conclusion. So look at this case, what has happened here. So when you look at this particular part, okay, of the discussion that we have done with my Copilot within my Word document, you can see that my Copilot was able to generate a draft for my marketing proposal on the particular product that is Card and so on. So, and I have drafted or maybe say a particular proposal, and maybe say I think that okay, I want to very particularly limit this discussion, all right, or maybe this particular draft, okay, to that of maybe instead of 2 or 3 pages, okay, I can say that. mm, okay, I can say that. Okay, keep the document to 2 pages and and use say convincing language, and then I can hit generate. Let's see, does it extend more than that? No. I'll have to refine that again. uh to maximum 2 pages and say using, still that goes into the third page, I guess. Yeah, this time it has limited to 2 pages as such at all. You see? So, of course, your prompts do play a crucial role here. Okay, maybe the language, the number of pages, maybe the output that you want to extract. All of that has a very crucial play role when you are providing with the right input. And when you're okay with this, okay, I can keep this up. Okay, and here it is. Okay, just a second. Mm, yeah. And now what I can definitely do is I can see I have a proposal. I'm okay with this. Now I can leverage the possibilities that does exist with my Copilot. So with Copilot, okay, now once I have created the draft, maybe I want to get the summary of this entire document. Okay, say in maybe say 5 points. Okay, let's see. Yeah, there it generates maybe the summary that it thinks. Okay, that it has been able to analyze as such. So one part is where I used my Copilot, okay, to draft an entire proposal, okay. And now on this, maybe see, I want to further extract insights, okay, with my Copilot on this entire, maybe the drafted content as such around there. I can run through, say, very particular prompts that are available, okay. Now, organizations who might prefer to keep what very particularly a prompt predefined gallery where they can save it, where they have found success with, and definitely say use that and to quickly analyze the entire document as such. Maybe you want to insert say images in this proposal, definitely you can use that. Okay, no stop on that. That is really be beneficial as such around there. So of course, what are the definite ways that you might want to consider using the Copilot is definitely again to draft your content, and maybe you want to edit it in a way very specifically, maybe you want to extract insights and so on. So that is definitely gonna be possible here in this case. And then, say for example, maybe say you are someone, again, my marketing team might be involved into creating a lot of presentations also, okay, for that of say maybe coming up with these proposals and so on. So I can definitely leverage the possibilities that exist with Copilot. The same way that we did Word, all right, here also, we can again draft with my Copilot, okay. I can ask my Copilot to create a presentation about so and so. Say, for example, I can just simply say that, okay, I want to create a presentation on artificial intelligence. Okay, just simply fetch some random, say, web-based data as such. And here it starts to generate maybe a particular template or the outline for that matter. And if you're okay with this, okay, I can just use it to create particular slides. Look at this case here. Okay, that's taking a bit of time, but let's wait. There you go. Let's keep this. Okay, yeah, there you see. Now, think from a business perspective, or maybe from that of an organization standpoint, maybe the amount of time that goes into creating a presentation of this sort. Okay, maybe where the images have been created and so on. So there are a lot of other say controls that I could have taken into account because again, maybe sometimes every organization might want to have a very particular standard, say template, okay, a theme as such. Definitely, there are different ways that you can apply that. Okay, now this is where randomly Copilot has fetched, okay, to apply the theme and the images as such around it. But definitely you can leverage a lot of control on those levels for that matter. So 27 slides, okay, maybe with respect to specific, say, notes also, okay. You can see this being integrated or within the context of your maybe the presentation that we were working with. And of course, you will have to proofread it. I would agree on that. But yes, this is really helpful. So of course, you can create this interactive visualize, say, these presentations, all right, to convey your particular ideas or maybe your presentations that you want to create it for that matter. Now, most of the times, you may not have to create it from the scratch, but rather you might want to say create a copy, maybe a presentation on the basis of an existing document. Okay, so for example, let's say. Maybe you want to create a summary of this, definitely that does exist. But yes, if you want to say create a presentation, okay, presentation using the document, okay, I can specify what is the document that I'm going to work with. See, I can use this particular document and say use this product specification document that we previously created and use that document to create this particular PowerPoint presentation for that matter. Yes, let's try to replace this. See, so on the basis of the underlying documents, this is where the grounded text, grounded document comes into full play. So you see the Cipher Guard Sentinel X7 product that we talked about. We're using that to create this presentation. So again, you are referencing a particular document and then you are using it to create what a presentation here in this case. So think from that perspective. Okay, again, time saving. All right. Of course, I know that maybe team and can be a concern, but definitely see this saves a lot on the time part. Okay. Maybe this presentation is just maybe 7 or 9, but then sometimes it can be more than that. So it can save a lot of time adding, maybe bringing in more value in terms of what the business that you're looking into that matter. Now, maybe you want to use it, okay, you may prefer to use your Copilot. Let me just say, let me show you. Mm, okay, yeah, just give me a minute. Let me close this and let me close this. Let me see this here. Okay. I'm going to use my Copilot maybe to even work in the case of my Excel. I can do that also. Okay. I just need to ensure that I'm working with Excel tables. All right. And then definitely see use it in terms of working with respect to maybe doing performing analysis as such around here. That is pretty much possible. So here maybe see I can ask this. See here, this is a simple data. All right, a very simple data that I have in place. But let's say, let me remove this. This is from another session. Just a second. Let me delete this. Okay. And let me see. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Now this is my data that I have. Okay. Now in a typical scenario, somebody who works with Excel and all, you would agree that it can be a lot more than this, okay? And maybe analyzing, and not everybody is very well versed working with, say, Excel, all right? Maybe you want to understand some complex data patterns. Maybe you want to understand the trends, okay? Maybe you want to create visualizations. You want to understand the distribution of your data. Maybe you want to identify your outliers, or maybe you want to identify what a particular formula is trying to do. All of that can be analyzed with Excel as such on there. Okay, so but whenever you're working with Excel, all right, there is something that we need to bear in mind that always see Copilot works, okay, with that of an Excel table only. All right, so you'll have to ensure that whenever you are going to work with, say, Copilot in that of your Excel as such, all right, you work with the right format. That is very important. The format is very important that you will consider for working with respect to see the analysis that you're looking in. So for example, I'll have to select maybe the region, okay, that or maybe the particular specific range which I need to be analyzing, and I can leverage the possibilities with Copilot for that matter. So now on this particular crucial business data, all right, I can use Copilot, all right, to show me some data insights. Okay. So Copilot will automatically scan for the entire data, understand the pattern, and it will suggest me some data insights for that matter. So on the region that I've selected, okay, this has been able to analyze that. Okay, this can be what I found, maybe the average of artisanal chai sales and so on. So, and I can use it to represent that in a particular sheet. Okay, a pivot table that can be created. Okay, maybe say I want to maybe say sometimes you might want to integrate Python as such. We can do that. Maybe say I want to very particularly say I want to summarize using pivot tables as such around their charts and so on. So I can generate the insights of the data for that matter. Let's see what it does. See. So if this was already being created, so I don't want to do this here. Maybe say I want to understand the insights for online searches for chai. Okay, I can definitely see ask on those part, and the Copilot starts to analyze the information. Okay, so here what you had here, okay, see average and so on. So and that has an outlier. See, now this is they're very beneficial, okay, because maybe you want to understand, okay, you want to analyze the data, and organizations would prefer to arrive at say some actions that can be taken. So data-driven actions is very beneficial or very much a part of your day-to-day task. And this is where data analysis or maybe say data analysts, okay, the roles are really, really coming handy for that matter. So imagine the time that goes into analyzing the large volumes of data, which can be definitely be simplified. Now, in our case, it was a very simple data that I worked with, all right. But typically, maybe you will work with large volumes of data, and Copilot can really be helping you on those levels for that matter. Maybe you want to apply some, say highlight cells with say maybe you can specify what is the condition that you're looking into, all right, and then definitely can highlight those values and get into say representing them in a specific manner that you deems fit for you. So for a data analyst or maybe somebody who deals with say a lot of Excel data, all right, maybe for financial tasks, maybe you want to key insights as such around there. This is going to be really, really be beneficial. And in some cases, maybe say there might be some complex formulas and so on. So I can say I can use my Copilot, okay, to again say use my Copilot to help me explain very particularly what those formulas are. All right. I can just say very particularly help me with some formulas, explain the formulas. So somebody who is a beginner, all right, and who wants to get started with Excel as such around there, they can also be benefited in that context. Now look at the possibilities that does exist. Okay, in scenarios, maybe you are into a marketing role, maybe you are into an op role, and maybe you are going to be a beginner. You want to use Copilot as to augment your day-to-day tasks. Maybe you want to use Copilot as a tutor, okay, to learn and understand things. Definitely, that's going to be happening here in this case. All right. So of course, the sky is the limit. The limit, of course, is to that extent that you choose to interact, and definitely say use it in terms of augmenting your day-to-day business processes for that matter. Maybe sometimes you may want to say, let's move out of say Excel. Maybe say I want to work with Copilot, and in terms of Copilot, I am gonna be using it towards working with respect to maybe my Outlook. Okay. Now, people who are gonna spend a lot of time composing email, all right, they're gonna find this really, really beneficial. Okay, I can use my Copilot. All right, I can draft with my Copilot. I can say that, hey, what, for example, bring in, all right, compose an email. Okay, sending the draft as such around it. I can just, yeah, I can compose it. Okay, use the Copilot to draft my responses, or maybe say emails as such around there. I can use say Copilot very particularly say for example, let's say that we create a draft here. Uh, uh, Draft an email for possible proposal um, for the product that it is. Um, use AI for internal team. Ask for say tentative start dates, and also requesting for a detailed um, outline with say trainer profiles. Now look at this case. Now my Copilot, my AI agent is going to construct responses. Okay, it's here. So it has created BBC. I hope this and so and so training sessions on AI for our internal team and so on. And again, I want to now based upon just with my 2 lines or 3 lines of instructions. Okay, my Copilot had created a particular email. Okay, and you can definitely tweak it. Okay, you may want to make changes, amendments, definitely, even that is possible. Now what I can definitely do is on this particular email, now even though this email was composed using the Copilot draft as such, I can use Copilot for helping me in coaching. Okay, so what the Copilot will do is maybe on a given email or the draft that you're working with, the Copilot can really apply or say check for some suggestions that it can provide you with. Now look at this case, what's going to happen. See, so it's set. So these are some of the replacements that Copilot suggests facts to me in terms of the tone, maybe in terms of the sentiment, in terms of the clarity that you're looking at. Let's apply all, and you will see another version of the email that has been composed here in this case. Then see, it shows you maybe what could have been refined, and this is what the suggestion is. And maybe if I can just replace it as such. It gets to replace this. Now, the same way, maybe I cannot show it here right now, but definitely see, maybe if you have long thread of emails, you want to summarize them. Maybe you want to extract the key talking points or write maybe some call for action as such around the year. Definitely your Copilot is really helpful. So maybe depending upon your licenses, definitely you can leverage the possibilities of Copilot within your, say, in your office applications. Similarly, you can use it in the context of your particular Teams channel as such around there. So maybe say in your Teams, maybe in other, say, particular tools that you really work in day-to-day context as such. So that was just a short demo. Again, our motto is not to focus on say Copilot for office applications, but yes, just to let you know the possibilities that does exist, all the way from drafting, okay, crafting the right prompts, analyzing your data, maybe say generating formulas, and maybe say maybe composing emails. All of that is definitely going to be possible. And I must say this: all these images that you see here, it's a Copilot generated. Okay, I had used AI in terms of generating this particular image as such around there. Okay. All right, everyone, let's take a quick 5 minutes break. I know that's the span of attention. Let's do one thing. We'll be back after 5 minutes and I will start on the remaining topics after the break.
Thank you so much, Jinu. Hello, everyone. I am Ria Kamar, and now I would like to take over and go through badges redemption part. I'm excited to announce that all participants in today's masterclass have been given exclusive free access to MS-4005 Craft Effective Prompts for Microsoft 365 Copilot courseware. The best part is that you also get to claim your digital achievement badges on Microsoft Learn to celebrate your Copilot skilling journey. Issued by Microsoft, these badges can help you highlight your newly acquired skills and boost your career potential. Let's take a quick look to steps that you need to follow. So, link for this landing page will be shared with you over your email, and you can redeem your MS 4005 courseware batches by clicking on this button. Now, let's talk about 3 steps that you need to follow to redeem your badges. Step number 1, sign into your Microsoft Learn account using your personal and professional Outlook and Hotmail account. If you already signed in, you just directly need to follow the step 2, which is redeem your code. If you don't have existing account, you need to click on create one option to follow the instruction to set up your account. Once you're logged in, you can come back to this page and once again click on get start button below. Now let's talk about step 2. So you will get your code, which is already pre-filled in the dialog box, and you just need to click on redeem option to claim that. Step 3, you will receive message indicating that your achievement has been added to your profile. You can now access your Microsoft official courseware module from training tab. With that, I would like to leave you for the break.
Sure, we are now going to take a 5-minute break, but before we do that, we are going to launch a quick poll that we want to invite you to participate in. Doing so helps us know how we can better serve you by telling us who might be interested in more information or in taking some additional training. In addition, we have a lot more informative webinars coming up, so please go to netcomlearning.com/webinars in order to register.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. Hope all of you are here. And let's continue back to the content to focus upon as a part of this masterclass. Let's take this further ahead. But let's now focus on something very important, okay? Where we talk about, say, the art of prompting. Now, irrespective of whichever the tool that I worked right now, okay? Say maybe that was Excel, maybe say I was using my Copilot in PowerPoint, maybe in my Outlook as such around there. Wherever I had used, okay, you would have seen that my interaction with these Copilot, okay, was based upon natural language inputs. And you saw that the relevancy, okay, of my results, okay, the quality of my results very much depended upon the input that I have specified because your Copilot by itself does not understand, say what you want. Okay, you'll have to instruct it, maybe via text, maybe via speech, all right. And that is where we focus on the art of prompting, okay, which can help you achieve a lot as it will ensure that, okay, you can particularly generate the best of the responses for that matter. So here you would have seen in my scenarios where, okay, um, say very particularly how the responses will be more valid in terms of the prompt applied for that matter. So a prompt can see a prompt is that instruction that you're going to be providing to your AI agent, or your solution to perform or execute a particular task as such around there. And something that you must really keep in mind whenever you're working with these prompts is that your prompts should contain certain facets. Okay. And an ideal breakdown of your prompt will ensure that you have responses that are more accurate, that are more valid. Now, of course, there are the facets that can be taken into consideration because the underlying data attributes towards constructing or say generating these responses, but it is very important. Your prompts are that mode, okay, that medium that you choose to interact with your model. Okay, so a prompt can contain, say, your instructions, maybe what you want your model to do. Maybe you can ask questions as such around there. All right, and maybe you can very specifically include the context. Okay, maybe the inputs. Maybe you want to use examples and so on. So for that matter, that is pretty much possible. So whenever you're trying to say work with these prompts, all right, see there are some elements that we need to be aware of. Okay, because again, there are different formats, different constructs that needs to be taken into consideration. And that will really ensure that you have responses that are more valid. For example, let's say um, I am, say, constructing, say, if you remember the email or maybe the proposal that we created, I wanted to have a training for my IT, say, members, okay, in the initial start. So, of course, your responses maybe see if you can include that information because you have in mind what are you creating for. Okay, maybe you're creating it for your internal team. Maybe you're creating it for your maybe see your marketing team, maybe your operations team as such around here. So you must say whenever you're constructing your prompt, okay, to add more relevancy, you'll have to very particularly consider what the audience for whom you are creating this particular say the responses in that case. Number two, maybe say I am a trainer. Okay, so maybe I want to generate a trainer notes. So of course, the notes should say exhibit that properties. All right, that means a trainer might consider when he or she tries to speak in the real context as such. So maybe for what a marketing person would do with an Excel document will be entirely different from that of maybe what the finance team would do with an Excel document as such around there. Okay, so you can definitely include what the role. Okay, you can consider the role that you want to consider. Okay, maybe for a marketing campaign and so on. And what is the task that you're looking at for that matter? Okay, it is very important that what you want to execute. Maybe you want to create an email, maybe you want to create a Q&A, and so on. So, and then of course, if you can include the specifics, it will be really beneficial as such around there. And that's why, say, with this Gen AI, all right, there are a lot of, say, prompting techniques, okay, which we typically call it as the prompt engineering, all right. that can be considered for that matter. Now, I won't, let's not say limit the discussion here to that of just Copilot, but of course, for your day-to-day office task, business requirements, you are going to be using the Copilot tool, no doubt on that. And you want to achieve wonders, or maybe say hit a ball out of the park, and maybe you want to say achieve that productivity, that streamlining your collaboration, and so on. So, in all those scenarios, all right, what you're going to do is that your prompts will play a very, very crucial role. Understand that. And there are some, not all the techniques I'm discussing here, because again, we have some limitations in terms of time, but okay. I'm going to talk about some few things that you can consider as you apply the prompts for that matter. Okay, the first and the foremost prompting techniques, okay, which is directly proportional, or maybe say since prompting is very much proportional to that of achieving relevancy. So you are someone who has been using these LLMs, right? Maybe your GPT, okay, GPT Turbo, GPT-4, Gemini, Bard, Cloud, and so on. So and you are instructing these in AI solutions to generate responses. Now, understand the underlying LLMs are trained on very large amounts of data, all right? And that's where, since the volume of the data is very large, you can apply this prompting technique, which is called as the zero shot prompting. Okay, the zero shot, as the name says, the zero shot. That means what? Say, you can directly just ask your model to generate a response, and that where you need not have to say use some explicit examples, or maybe you do not want to use some demonstrations as such around there. So with zero prompt, say technique, all right, you're directly say instructing the model, hey, I'm looking for a particular task, and you just directly say this, all right, and that way the particular model will be able to generate responses in this case for that matter. So what happens is that you're not providing the model with any external examples, okay, and so on. So, and the model just definitely say tries to. And so let's go with this very particular example that was being used. Let's try it here in this case, in case of my Copilot here. And let's say, let's try to classify a particular text. Say, for example, let's say classify, okay, the text, okay, into neutral, yeah, or maybe which is something which is negative, or that which is positive. Okay, that's simple. And then maybe see, I can say that given the text, okay, and this is what I see here is the text is the input text is, I think the vacation is okay. And let's say, I see that I'm looking for extracting the sentiment, okay, and just see what happened. See, I told you that your LLM, okay, your language models are capable enough for extracting summaries. If you're looking for generating, say, extracting very particularly what do you call the key talking points, maybe the sentiment, and so on. So it is very much practically possible. So here, without even me giving, all right, say, um, providing an example alongside the actual text, that is, I think the vacation is okay. The LLM was able to create a taxonomy, or maybe say classify the given input text, which is that where I said that I think the vacation is okay. All right. See, let's say, for example, this is where the contextualization comes into role play. All right. Okay. Based on the above, uh, let's say, now, let's say my text is, I can say that it was a great vacation. Okay. Um, full of fun and a great quality time. Okay, uh, time in the lab. Okay, and let's say, and let's sentiment. Yeah. So the overall, see. So of course, there are reasons why maybe a given text can be classified as neutral, say positive, negative, and so on. So again, the words that you have used really has a key role in this. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that with zero shot learning, all right, without using any here in this case, I contextualize my response. But in the first initial case, I haven't used any example. Okay, but the LLM still understands the sentiment. And that's where I have used the concept of zero shot capability. All right. But in some scenarios, maybe say it's not always necessary that this will work. Okay, sometimes for some of the basic tasks and so on. So you just have to instruct your language model, your GenAI model definitely, and it starts to generate responses for that matter. But in some scenarios, all right, say there are, okay, since it's trained on large volumes, say you might want to work with, say, more complex task, and you get limited in terms of generating some responses simply because you went with zero shot learning. So that's where you can level up the game by introducing this interesting concept called as the few shot learning. So few shot, as the name suggests, few. This is where, all right, you can use this technique. Say, for example, whenever you want to enable in-context learning, okay, contextualizing learning in the context for that matter. Now, understand AI learns, all right? AI learns from the pattern of the data. So here, what you are going to be doing is that, of course, whenever it's trying to construct a response, whenever it is trying to say come up with those insights, it has undergone a learning. AI learned. That is what artificial intelligence is all about. It learns. So this is where you can provide examples. You can provide, say, demonstrations in your prompt, and then definitely you can particularly say or very specifically state that what you're looking at. All right. You can steer the model to the better performance by including the right examples for that matter. That is pretty much possible. So for example, let's say instead of let's go with the same example that we worked earlier. All right, let me just clear this. Uh, okay, so here for example, let's say I can say that this is uh, awesome. Okay, and again, I can see that I can label the text as negative. Okay, uh, this is bad. Okay. Mm, and let's see. Wow, that movie was, let's see, something like this. Okay. And let's see what a horrible show. And I want to generate maybe a sentiment here. So even though when you look at this, of course, I have constructed in such a way to confuse your GPT as such around it, but understand that, okay, um, it becomes more robust in generating responses to very much of a random format as such around there. Okay, so let me show you here. In this case, let me run this. See, it sounds like you have had a mix of responses. All right. Okay. For positive, oh, that movie was that. Okay. And so and so. And then, of course, the response here, negative, what a horrible. So here to reach an audio. So here, when this kind of an input is being given as such, again, this will learn definitely over a bit of time. But what I'm trying to say here is that I use some examples, okay, and use it in terms of maybe classifying the text as such around there. Now, with few short learning, all right, see, I can specify what I want to generate, or maybe I can give some examples in this case. Maybe you're using a chat GPT, maybe you're using a Copilot, and so on, so for that matter. So, for example, let's say, let me give another example in this case. Um, Maybe the user says, all right, the user input is very particularly, that was an awesome experience. All right. Okay, and I take it to the next line, and maybe the assistant is supposed to respond, okay, by saying that it is positive. Maybe the user says, I won't do that again. And the assistant says, okay, just a second. And again, the user says, okay, I'm just giving some sample examples. Now, this is what undergoes, what happens on the back end also. When you're training an AI model, you'll have to train it at your different possibilities and inputs and so on, so for that matter. Okay, so when the user says, that was not worth my time. Okay, uh, okay, user assisted. Okay, now this is what I want to say. You haven't provided any, say, additional context as such around there. All right. With few short learning, all right, maybe say, let's say what happens here in this case. Yeah, see, it generated positive. Why? The previous examples that I had used in this case were used as a way of training from the inline text for that matter. Okay, and in this prompting technique with few short learning, all right, I have given some sample examples, some demonstrations where the AI can learn and definitely say apply that labeling or maybe the classification that I was looking at in this case for that matter. So this is really helpful because again, whenever you find limitations with zero shot learning, all right, you can leverage the possibilities that does exist with that or for the few shot learning for that matter being. Okay, that is possible. Maybe you want to very particularly go with another technique, which is very interesting, which is COT, which is the chain of thought. Okay, one of the interesting possibilities that does exist is the chain of thought for that matter. So what happens with chain of thought is, as the name suggests, okay, see, your chain of thought will really help you in terms of breaking down your complex task. Okay. And you can ask the model to explain, like if you remember when I was talking about the Excel, I asked my Copilot to explain the same way. I can use my model to really explain the chain of thought. So sometimes, okay, you do not know how your model or your AI agent is narrowed down to some responses. Okay. And this way, when you ask a model to respond, okay, say how particularly it is arriving at some conclusions as such around there, this can be really be beneficial. So you understand that, say, for example, let's say, let me give an example. So with us, we human beings, definitely you see there are factors that influence your decisions, right? So maybe what I can definitely do is I can ask, all right, say if I can understand what really influenced my co-pilot or my AI agent to arrive at some conclusions, I can definitely say take okay an approach. I can definitely say improve my prompts. And then if that the response doesn't generate aligns to the quality that I was looking in, I can come up with more valid responses in that case for that matter. Let me give an example. Okay. Let's say, uh, what is the easiest? Okay. Uh, let's say musical instrument. Okay. Uh, instrument master. Okay. And yeah. So when I ask such a question, okay, when I ask, okay, such a question, let's say, and here is the response. Maybe some of you are okay. One of the easiest that is to master the ukulele. Then you can go for keyboard and piano. Maybe you can go for the recorder and harmonica for that matter. Okay, or maybe say let me just do one thing. Let me edit it instead of easiest. Let's make it hardest. Yeah, violin is tough. Okay, I must say that in the past I had tried something some years back, but yeah, didn't find luck learning violin. But it's a very good, say, instrument to be practiced about. Okay, and then maybe your French horn. Okay, I haven't seen that. Of the piano is tough. Bagpipes, yeah, bagpipe. If say, yeah. So it really rates this maybe what can be the hardest musical instrument that you can be mastered about. Now, in this particular case, of course, maybe say um, say what is happening in this case is, of course, maybe the co-pilot would have used some informations and definitely say um, and provided you with this some response in this case for that matter. Let me increase the font here. Yeah. So when this response is being created, we do not know what really influenced, all right, say this particular response. So that's where I can go for the chain of thought technique because this will help me to iterate and improve my prompt, okay, to get highest quality of the answer from the underlying model for that matter being. And that's what the chain of thought does. So what I can definitely do is, okay, I can just say, I can copy this. Okay, let me say copy this. What is the hardest musical instrument to master? Okay, and see, let's say give a step by step, okay, approach of your thoughts, okay, and ending in your response. Now I'm asking, all right, I'm asking very particularly my co-pilot or my AI agent to really suggest me the response and the complete explanation and how it arrived at the conclusion for that matter. See, you see this? So maybe say it says that, okay, on the basis of the criteria, the research, okay, different instruments, analyzing specific challenges, and then it was able to narrow down on this. Now, when such a response is generated, okay, say such a kind of understanding has been generated, and you know that, hey, how particularly the co-pilot was able to very particularly narrow down on the information. All right. You can then, of course, change it. Okay, maybe the consideration, the research, and so on. So, and you can make the changes in your prompt. All right, maybe where you think that, hey, maybe some detour has taken. Maybe you were looking at the instruments that were stringed as such, or maybe you were looking at, say, wind-based say instruments as such and on there, or maybe something that will be used in the eastern parts of the world. Okay, something that is very much aligned to maybe say a particular group of people as such. So you can narrow down those informations and you think that maybe align it and bringing it narrowing down to the specific context for that matter. And that's what your chain of thought really does. Okay. So you can force your LLM to understand, hey, what are you trying to do? All right, get me those responses. Okay. And then how you arrive at those decisions as such around there. Okay. And then of course we change your prompt where you think, okay, maybe that there was a detour that was being taken. All right. And then of course ensure responses that are more valid as such around there. So you can split the prompt, you can break down this prompt, and then you can provide more informations, clarify the instructions that you're looking at for that matter. Then you have very particularly the concept of prompt chaining also, another interesting technique. Okay, just give me a minute. Yes. Yeah, you have the concept of prompt chaining also. So prompt chaining, see what happens is that, again, the reason why we are considering all these possibilities that do exist with these prompting techniques is that you want to understand or you want to have reliable and performance from your LLMs. Okay. And definitely prompt engineering definitely attributes towards very particularly having ensuring responses that are more relevant and accurate for that matter. So here, see, you might want to consider breaking that into your, say, your entire prompt is something that you can say break down into task, into subtask, and so on, so for that matter. So once you have those subtasks, all right, and you put that into your say prompts as such around there, say you can split it into your subtask, and then you can create a chain of prompt that you want to consider for that matter. So what happens with prompt chaining is that, okay, you accomplish a complex task, okay, where maybe your LLM might struggle to address for that matter, okay, and then with a very detailed prompt for that matter. So what happens in prompt chaining is that your chain of prompts performs series of transformations, maybe some additional processes and so on. So, okay, and then of course you will be able to achieve the final desired state, okay, in the generated responses for that matter. So this will really help to boost the transparency of your LLM application, increase the controllability, the reliability, and so on. So, and in case if you have any problems that needs to be debugged as such around there, even that can be really, really be beneficial for that matter. So for example, let's say, um, yeah, mm, just a second. Just a minute. Mm, yeah, say for example, let me come here. Let me refresh this. Okay, so the motto behind, say, you going for prompt chaining is where you want to divide the complex prompt into multiple, say queries as such around, so that the model will better understand each of the individual part and can improve the overall accuracy or the relevancy associated with the responses for that matter. And you can include the responses, maybe if you maybe you want to use it from the previous prompt, maybe and so on. So you can add those capabilities to the model to generate interesting responses for the matter B. So for example, let's say, okay, so let's say, uh, let me just, okay. There are other techniques definitely that is available like RAG, tree of thoughts, and so on. So, but yes, mm, just give me a minute. Mm, Let me fetch a good content upon which I can run this prompt, uh, rather than okay. A good example, the data. This data becomes a bit complex to copy with. Let's see. Hmm. So let me take an example here. Okay, let's see. See here. Look at this question here, or maybe see I have a particular. I'm asking the model. All right, a dog can ride down the zip line in 30 seconds. Okay, and it takes 5 minutes to climb back up to the top. How many times can dog ride, say, the zip line in 17 minutes? Okay, and of course, definitely that was a very direct question. And say you get the answer is 3 times in 17 minutes. Okay, because of course he doesn't have to return to the finder. But now what happens is that, say, instead of this, okay, when a particular task of this sort is being taken into consideration, all right, what I can do is that I can break down this entire prompt, okay, where I can ask multiple questions. Okay, for example, say I can ask questions about, say, what about the round trip time to get back on the top, okay, to the top of the zip line as such around. Or maybe say I can ask for how to particularly say count for the fact that maybe some, if in case if DAW starts at, say, at the start of the top, okay, I can ask that for that matter. And this way, I can break down this entire complex task, okay, into specific facts, okay, and that way can generate responses that can be more relevant for the matter. So here, just simple, it was in a very plain context that was being asked. I can incorporate more. See, this prompt could have been divided into more subtasks as such. Maybe say if somebody starts from the top, maybe say maybe the kind of round trip that goes into, and so on, so informations for that matter being. And here right now, then of course you will see that the answer definitely the response does changes because maybe I created a very particularly breakdown of my task and thus generated responses in that case. So what happens here with respect to the prompt chaining, all right, is that you chain your actions, okay? You chain, divide it into subtasks as such around there, and that way we can generate responses that are more, say, in a sequence of activities. All right, you can specify what you want to be generating, and that way you will see answers that are more relevant for that matter. So this is really beneficial because scenarios where your few short learning, your zero short learning doesn't work, all right, and you think your AI agent should assist you in terms of doing something which is very much complex, all right, you can help, or maybe you can direct in terms of maybe specifying the sequence. Okay, very specifically, this is what I want you to do. This is what the next step should be. All right, maybe in calculating, I want you in the previous example. Okay, in the calculation, this is where I want you to get started with. This is where I wanted you to end with. So I can break down that entire task into some subtasks and generate responses more valid in that case. And that is what happens in the context of the prompt chaining. Okay, where you can learn from the previous prompt and apply that context into the future prompt and then generate responses in that case to achieve precision and efficiency for that matter being. So these were some of the few techniques, prompting techniques that we could have considered, or maybe not all. I must say there are other prompting techniques that are available. Okay, like tree of thoughts. Okay, you have meta prompting, and so on. So coming into role play, but I'm not going to be discussing here because again that doesn't align. Or again, due to the time limit, definitely that we have, um, we wouldn't be able to discuss that here for that matter. But here, let's move on further ahead and let me try to talk about some of the roadmap and the recommended courses maybe for you professionals, okay, who want to understand the possibilities that exist with your co-pilot or maybe the skilling journey that you're looking at. And here is an interesting circulated slide, okay, that I have put in together. Depending upon your skills, all right, maybe on the expertise, definitely the level that you hold, all right. This is going to be really, really beneficial. So, see, for someone who really wants to understand the fundamentals of Copilot, definitely AI 3018, okay? That speaks on maybe as a beginner, if you really want to understand the possibilities of Copilot, definitely for everyone that is going to be beneficial. And for some business users, okay, who want to work with, say, prompting with Copilot, or maybe for specific on the sales level as such around there, you have courses like MS-4004, 405, 4005, 4008 as such around there. Again, for different roles, different, say, the prompts that can be applied on specific use cases as such, okay. And for some experts, okay, the pros as such around there, they want to administer the Copilot for the M365, maybe for security as such. For beginners, you have some courses, all right, and you can see some MS, say, series courses like 4007 for the intermediate level, 4006, 4002, 4011 as such around there for the intermediate advanced level of, say, users, okay. And you also have, say, maybe some are developers, okay, and you are interested in some developing solutions. For beginners, definitely AI 308 will give them the foundations, but definitely say if you want to extend your Copilot. Okay, now that's very much possible where you can extend it with plugins, connectors, and so on. So those is being discussed in your MS-4014 for that matter, which talks about the extending your M365 Copilot. And maybe you want to build solutions, all right. In that case, you have, say, AI 3016, again, for pro code capabilities. For low code capabilities, you have PL7008 for that matter. You have, say, MS-4009, where you can extend your Copilot for M365 with Copilot Studio, all right. You can bring in plugins, connectors in MS-4010, all right. And if you're looking for, say, GitHub-based integration, all right, then you have AZ2007, and you have, say, MS-4015, where you can build a custom engine copilot for your within the Teams channel as such around there. Now, these are all custom solutions that you can build in, okay, where you choose to bring into a specific channel and work on all those contexts for that matter. So, see, irrespective of where you stand, maybe you want to go for told, right? Maybe you want to use the built-in, say, the Copilot capabilities that are available. Definitely that is going to be possible. Or in case you want to go for some custom solutions, even that does exist where you want to deploy your Copilot solutions on the right channels as such around there. Okay, and maybe say you want to go for maybe low code solutions, you want to go for pro code solutions, definitely all these courses definitely aligned to. So depending upon your professional roles, all right, the area of your expertise and the kind of the solution that you want to build with Copilot, okay, definitely Microsoft and of course we as a team definitely are there to deliver with these kind of courses, the possibilities that do exist. Feel free to explore these possibilities because there is a lot of say possibilities that does exist with respect to Copilot as a learner who wants to extend and of course want to leverage the capabilities of artificial intelligence into day-to-day business tasks as such around there. So let's finally focus on the wrap up. What was the takeaways? What did we discuss here? All right, where we started up discussing about, say, what Copilot is all about. Okay. I believe you have a fair understanding of what Copilot really reflects, okay, what it gets to do, not just limiting to that of within your M365, but of course the possibilities that does exist with Copilot, custom agents as such around. Now, you saw the possible, say not all, but some of the possible avenues where you could be using your Copilot for your day-to-day task, all right? Whether it is your office, whether it is your, say, office tools like Teams, Word, maybe your Power Platform, maybe for your security products as such around there. And then we spoke about how particularly you can achieve relevancy, how particularly you can see achieve the accuracy, and different strategies that you can adopt with respect to the prompting techniques, whether it was few shot learning, with zero shot learning, chain of thoughts, okay, and so on, so for that matter. And finally, I did talk about some of the roadmaps, okay, that we want to consider as a beginner, maybe as a developer, maybe as an IT professionals, some recommended courses along the line of products with respect to the Microsoft, and of course that network makes it available for that matter. Okay, so with that, it's a wrap on my part on this particular session on this master class where we did talk about the art of prompting, the possibilities that do exist with Copilot for that. I hope you found value with this session. All right. And this was a great learning. And you're going to be deploying your Copilot for your day-to-day tasks for that matter. Okay. With that, it's a wrap. Thank you very much for joining today and have a great day and have a happy learning further ahead, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Gino. That was most informative. I know everyone is looking forward to the Q&A session, so go ahead and start putting your questions into the questions panel. And while you do that, I would like to give the presentation rights over to Sagnik, our vendor manager, to introduce you to our promotions and webinar-related courses.
So as you can see on my screen, this is the event handout that you all have received. Once again, we thank you all for taking out the time and joining our masterclass today. As part of this handout, you'd see the content section wherein the different sections within the document have been listed here, and everything is hyperlinked. So you can quickly use these links to jump to the specific section of the document. Before we proceed, it's worth mentioning that Netcom Learning, we are the proud winners of the Microsoft Partner of the Year Award for 2 years in a row. So as we say, the legacy continues. In 2022, we were the Partner of the Year worldwide, and in 2023, we were the Partner of the Year for United States. And we are also a Microsoft Cloud Solutions partner. That means that we have capabilities across all the 6 solution areas recognized by Microsoft. A few more things about us. We are in the training industry for over 25 years now, having serviced over 80% of the Fortune 1000 companies, serviced 100 plus US military bases. Overall, we have trained 1 million plus professionals across 36,000 plus unique enterprises, and we enjoy a 96% recommendation rate from our customers. All our trainings on Microsoft are delivered by instructors that are certified and authorized by Microsoft. And our overall instructor pool stands at about 3,200 plus certified professionals. We are your one-stop solution for all your corporate upskilling needs with official training across every major technology and business solution provider. So as we can see over here, we are an authorized training partner for all the industry leaders across Microsoft, AWS, Cisco, CompTIA, EMI, EC Council, and others. Now, within this handout, you would also find this particular page wherein you can find the session recording. You can use the link to access the recording for today's session and revisit the concepts that were covered in today's masterclass. On this page, you'd find the link to access your complimentary courseware and the digital badges. The same landing page that we covered at the beginning of my presentation. You can find the direct access link here, and the link to which is also available on your chat on GoToWebinar. Also, all the participants will be given access to Netcom 365. It is our student portal that includes a lot of features and resources for you to take advantage of to supercharge your skilling journey. All you need to do if you're accessing it and activating it for the first time is set up your password and then you'd be good to go. We highly recommend everyone to explore our learning portal to take full advantage of all your skilling resources. Now let's quickly take a look at some of the latest offers on Microsoft trainings and certifications. First up, we have the Microsoft Quick Start program, which is applicable across the entire portfolio. encompassing Azure, security, Microsoft 365, Dynamics 365, and Power Platform. It is truly the best in class exclusive enterprise discount offering on your end-to-end Microsoft training across the official portfolio. The pricing model is quite simple and straightforward. If you have a team, if either you are a large organization or a small organization, and you have a team to train across departments or within the same department, we have two options for you depending on your team size. If you are looking to train more than 15 learners, you would be getting a flat discounted pricing of $300 per day per learner. And of course, as the number of days for the particular training increases, the amount also increases, but you get significant savings on this. If you are having a smaller team, that is 14 learners or less, then you still are entitled to a $400 discounted flat pricing per day per learner. This really accounts to huge savings when it comes to large scale training. So we highly recommend everyone to get in touch with us, explore the offering by clicking on the link provided in this handout. And all your trainings can also be customized based on the specific projects and workloads that you and your team, your organization is working on. And our industry specific subject matter expertise encompasses a wide range of verticals, as you can see over here, from banking and financial services, healthcare, federal and state and local government, to education, energy, manufacturing, retail, consumer goods, and more. Also, you'd find that if you have a team, if you are a big organization or a small organization, having a team that you're looking to train, our 2-hour private group training demo is also a great option for you as the next step. It is free of cost, as we say, you can see over here, and it is customizable as per your needs. So rather than a public delivery, which was the format of today's session, you're going to get a private group training wherein our instructor is going to connect with you, understand your specific requirements, and our learning consultants are going to map out your specific needs and accordingly tailor the skilling plan that makes sense for you and your business. So these training demos are provide a great value because these are customizable. All the trainings are delivered by our top rated trainers, and you get a complimentary skilling plan consultation, allowing you to get clarity on which specific courses are needed to be taken by your team. And in case you are a large organization, you are a multi-shore firm with multiple divisions and your workforce spread across geographies, or you have multiple business units within the same organization, the skilling needs kind of get complicated in those scenarios, right? But how do you manage your training funds in that case? And that's why we have the Learning Passport, which provides a flexible team training package. Basically, you park all your training funds with us for 12 months. And within these 12 months, you get exceptional value on the funds that you invest, right? Up to 100% increase of your fund value is what you can experience with our Learning Passport. And these funds are flexible. That means you can use it to train irrespective of the individual that you want to opt in for. A simple distinction with the Netcom Plus is that it is mapped to the specific learner and it is only valid for that learner. But in Learning Passport, you get that additional flexibility that for one particular course, you can pick one particular learner, and for another, you can use your same training dollars for another course. This is basically giving you unlimited access to our entire authorized training portfolio of 4,000 plus official courses. So we highly recommend you to check this out if you have such skilling requirements, especially keeping in mind that the end of the year is coming, and we are aware that organizations need to finalize their training budgets. If they don't use it, they kind of lose it. So this is an ideal solution for you guys to park your training funds and make sure you get the ultimate value all year round. Now we will take a look at the recommended courses that we have. Over here, you can see the courses that are related to today's topic have been mapped here, divided by fundamentals and role-based. So we highly recommend everyone to click on these links. All of these are hyperlinked. Pick the item that you want to explore and you'd be redirected to the official documentation that we have on these particular courses. Also, please note that all the courses that are delivered by Netcom Learning are delivered by subject matter experts. You get additional perks like 180 days access to virtual labs wherever applicable. Also, you get access to 90 days to the class recordings to revisit the concepts. You get full access to our Netcom 365 portal, as well as you can repeat the classes free of cost within a specified duration if you want to revisit or you couldn't attend the first time. We also have a couple of free resources mapped here, like our upcoming free event and a blog. We highly recommend you to explore those as well. With that, I'd like to thank everyone. Do follow us on our social handles, and we hope to see you soon once again on one of our events and classes. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much for guiding us through that information, Sagnik. And now we're going to go ahead and jump right into our question and answer session. Our first question is, what is the best method for prompting?
There isn't any best method that I would recommend in the sense that, of course, see, you will have to iterate. Okay, you'll have to retune it as such. So as I said, you iteratively built upon the various possibilities of prompting techniques. So you will have to identify that. So it depends from the scenarios to scenarios, all right. The contextual data, the kind of task that you're going to be executing it. So you will have to say apply multiple iterations are definitely going to play a crucial role, and you'll have to figure out what leads to the accurate responses. So you must be aware of these possible prompting techniques that we spoke about. That will again put you in a position that you get responses that are more relevant and accurate for that matter. Yeah. Do we have any other questions?
Next question is there a general prompting class we can take, or is it specific to each provider?
There isn't a specific, say class that you can say that you can consider in the sense that say prompt engineering is very generic, okay, across different platforms, different say Gen AI solution providers. So we cannot limit, say, if you're looking for prompting as such, definitely it's not going to be limited to a provider because again, every provider will have its own tool, but at the end of the day, the concept remains to be the same. So you can leverage the capabilities of prompt engineering or prompting techniques that are available and apply that on a specific tool that you want to deploy on your day-to-day task.
And our final question in the queue is, we seem to get a lot of crazy responses while using Copilot. Can prompting help with that?
Yes, definitely. See, um, as a solution expert, or maybe as someone who's going to be using these solutions, what I believe is that maybe you are not always going to be developing solutions, right? So you do not have the control of maybe refining or say retuning the behavior of your LLMs, but prompting definitely has. So like I said, when you strategize, when you identify that how particular copilot is arriving at some conclusions, you can change your prompts, okay, retune your prompts in such a way that helps you to come up with say responses that are more valid for that matter being. And iterate. Okay. Don't go crazy over the fact that maybe the responses are say so spread out. It only happens when you put your copilot on the pilot seat. Okay, you be on the pilot seat. Use Copilot to augment it, and of course, instruct it and understand where it is taking those decisions and regulate it with respect to your prompts, and that way you can generate more valid responses. So definitely that's there. That's the reason why we went with the prompting concepts in this particular session. Okay, I hope that answered your question.
Once again, I want to remind you that as you leave this session today, you will be presented with a short survey. We would like to request for you to help us by taking a quick moment to participate in that survey. Your feedback really helps us understand your learning experience as we are constantly looking at how we can improve our future sessions. The survey answers are measured on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 representing outstanding and 1 representing poor. We want to thank all of you for joining us today, and if you do come up with any additional questions, feel free to send them to webinar@netcomlearning.com at any time. We hope that you found today's webinar informative, and we look forward to seeing you back here with us soon. Feel free to tell your friends and colleagues about our webinars and other courses. Have a great day, everyone.